What's going on, man? What's happening, man? Y'all know what it is today. This probably, you the biggest, I'm going to say you the biggest name I done had. A lot of people don't. I do rappers, strippers, a lot of things, a lot of people, but anybody know, man, I'm a sports head. I've been admiring your work forever, man.
Appreciate
we got, today we got one of the most, you mean a lot to the community. If you watch Friday nights, now we ain't even gonna mention Friday nights. If you are a hip and you are a football head and you played in the sport, 4th and Goal means so much to Toledo, Northwest Ohio community. It means a lot, man. We got Mike, Rob in the building, BCS in on. Mike Rob in the building, man.
Hey,
What's
man.
going on?
Thanks
How you doing, man? I
Chief,
appreciate you having me, man.
Appreciate it, dog.
It's been a long time coming, man. I wanted to say, man, I never got a chance. From where I'm from, right?
Yeah.
I come from a gang-banging background, a crazy background.
Right.
And I had a friend that changed my life and put me in a world that was just crazy. I want to say you probably the first, I've been turned down by radio stations to be like, oh, well, we going to have you do some business, boom, boom, boom. Spin me. Another corporate people, spin me. You was the first to come get me and was just like, hey, man, I need you to do this all-star game for me.
Yeah.
Can you? And I went in Central and I'm like, that to me meant a lot. I don't think you even knew that. So I want to thank you on camera and give you your flowers on camera for that, man. So appreciate you, bro, man. How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good. And thanks for doing that event because it meant a lot because, you know, I like to try to involve everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not from the city. And so I like to get people involved, but I like people to come together. We talked a little bit about that ahead of time because when you work together, you get shit done.
Yeah, you do.
Period. You know, and it can't be about ego. And I knew you was out here doing your shit and you popping. I'm like, let me go get my man Porter. I could have went to DJ Lou, but he was a man when I was in college.
Yeah.
He's had his time. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, Porter out here getting it. Let's get it.
I appreciate it, man. And you mentioned you're not from here. Where are you from? Let the people know where you're from.
I'm from the land, man. 216 Shaker Heights specifically.
How was it growing up in Cleveland?
Man, you know,
time?
it was interesting, man. You know, growing up in the 90s, you know, without cell phones and all that good stuff, you know, you outside playing, running around, you know, you involved with the streets and shit like that. So, and Shaker Heights, where I grew up at, is super rich, upper medium, middle class, lower middle class, and kind of dirt. And so we kind of like in the middle where my family was at. But the block where I grew up at housed a lot of talent. You know, a lot of talented people, and we was in a little neighborhood that was cornered by both sides of Cleveland. So we was in Shaker, but by a thread, by like a block. So like if we cross the street right here, we in Cleveland. Okay. You know, so we was little Cleveland essentially. So it's like, yeah, we grew up in Shaker, but we was surrounded with the stuff. So
right there.
So growing up, you know, you having to, you know, worry about, you know, being on the block, about guys coming around, trying to fight and all, you know, it was a white tee thing back then. So niggas be running around 30 deep in white tees and you like, man, I'm just chilling on the block. Like, this supposed to be Shaker, but here come the cats from Bartlett. Here come the cats from Kinsman because they trying to get the girls from Shaker. Yeah. And we can respect that. But so growing up, you had to be street smart, but you also had to be book smart because you had a little bit of both where, you know, where we're coming from.
That's dope. How did you get involved with sports at a young age?
Well, like I said, growing up, my older brother, me and him is completely different. You know, you see my brother, you see me, you see him. He got tatted up from head to toe, jail tats. You know, and he just done some hard times. Spent damn near a decade in jail. You know, selling. You know, so I grew up around the street shit. You know, and funny with it, you know, my brother was really good friends with Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi lived a block away from me, you know, where we grew up at. And
that's crazy. He went to UT.
Yeah, he went to UT. I grew up with him. You know, his brother was a bully of the neighborhood.
He was?
His brother ran the neighborhood, bro. Like, you walk outside and this Doski. He outside. Yeah, everybody like, man, this dude crazy as hell. You like, hey, man, you know, but it was different back then, man. It was like gangs and shit was kind of like a deal. But growing up like that, it was cool, man. Like I said, and seeing, like I said, that tough shit, it made me kind of say, man, I don't want to do that because my brother in 5th grade, 6th grade, smoking weed, doing shit like that, you know, and I'm like, man, I don't really want to be a part of that. Yeah. And so being a baby brother, you get to see that and I got to choose my path. Yeah. Did I want to follow that lead or did I want to go do something else? And sports kind of captivated me early.
That was football your first choice sport?
Negative.
It wasn't?
Basketball.
Basketball?
Hooping.
What? I never knew that.
Man, hooping was my thing. Like, shout out to Mr. Young. That was my 3rd grade teacher. He was the truth, man. He was a varsity assistant coach, and he was the first black role model I had. You know, I didn't grow up with my pops, and so he was the first black role model I had. He the one that told me to get my shit together in 3rd grade. Like, somebody had to tell you to get your shit together in 3rd grade, man.
God damn, they were times in my 20s.
Man, listen. It took a while, but, you know, I had been suspended about 20 times, you know, in 2nd grade, like literally 20 times from coming from Cleveland Heights to Shaker Heights. Yeah. I just didn't really understand why I had to move, you know, but basketball was my first sport. You know, I was always into hooping and just because you can go outside and just dribble. You know, just be dribbling in the driveway. You on punishment. Your mom like, you can't leave the yard. Don't leave that driveway. So I'm in the driveway just dribbling. You can't play football by yourself. So
no, you can't.
You know, that's what basketball started out. And then football came about closer to, you know, 8th grade. You know, my mom didn't let me play youth football because she couldn't get me to and from practice. Okay. So
yeah, Cleveland way bigger than Toledo. So you can't.
It was not that. And also I wasn't mature enough for it at that time. I was just too disrespectful.
I cannot believe that you like this. This is why we call this the My Truth Podcast. Because you pop on TV, you'll judge a book by its cover, and that's why I want to get you on to get your story, and so people can see your truth and see where you come from. So you said your mom didn't get it too. So how was it when you first got into it, the football?
Well, I wanted to play quarterback. I wanted to be the guy. I wanted to be the guy that tossed the rock.
You wanted to play quarterback?
I wanted to be the quarterback. I was like, let me get that rock. And then I had a couple guys in front of me that had been playing football for a while, and I still got an arm. Like I got a cannon, boy.
I seen you in one of the start games one day throwing the ball.
I mean, I'm telling you, I can rocket the ball still, and people look at me like, damn. And like, so football was what we was doing. But you know, in junior high football back in the day, it wasn't passing. So we had like I had the first RPO. I said it was a run play in practice, coach, and I'm like, I knew my homie on the outside. I'm like, he got him. So so I pulled that thing and I threw it, scored a touchdown. Coach looked at me like, bruh, it was a run play. I'm like, well, you scored. You know, and
coach ain't trying to hear it.
And from that point on, I got demoted from the A team to the B team. Oh, and so I had to play the B team my whole 8th grade year. And it was what it was, you know what I mean? But football started coming there because all my friends played football. Obviously on the basketball team, we was at a much bigger high school. You had much better guys than me at hooping. I was more a hustle man, played defense. Jason Kidd, my favorite hooper. So I'm more about the assists, and I wasn't about scoring and all that, but I was about playing defense like a football player. You know,
a lot of football players do that.
Just go out there, body you up. I'm getting too many fouls. And I'm like, man, you know, let me go to football. So football happened for me. I actually missed my freshman year, so because I didn't have the grades coming in from 8th grade, and so I've always preached about that because it happened to me. Like I missed the whole year of football because 8th grade I wanted to be a clown, I wanted to be silly and play around, and then I missed that opportunity, and so I had to wait a whole year, watch my friends ball out. But then I came back my sophomore year.
That's crazy. My son went through a similar thing. We played football at St. Francis freshman year, but when you got to hoop season, you got to keep them grades, man. How important did you was them grades? Explain to the people that's kids, as the youth that's listening, how important are them grades in sports?
It's everything. If you ain't got grades, it's a problem. You know, especially if your goals is to play at the next level. And I really ain't have goals to play at the next level because, again, I didn't have any mentors. My mind wasn't shaped. I didn't have a me, is what I would say. I didn't have a me out there telling me, hey, man, that's a bad move. You don't want to post that on Facebook. You don't want to make the decision. You probably want to do your homework. Now, I did in teacher forums and principals and stuff like that, but the grade part is in high school is literally the end all be all. The coach comes to the school, who you got? We got these guys, what's their grades? First time they say that, and they like, well, I got this cat over here. You know, we talked about some guys. I can mention their names. They look at their grade card. They're going to say, yeah, his film is good, but I can't do nothing with him.
Grades like you can't read.
And when that happens, you close all your doors. And even if you're a good football player, you might not get that scholarship over the kid that's got better grades who's an average football player, because the college coach is going to look at him and say, this guy's more reliable. When it's time to go do schoolwork, I ain't got to have my tutors and coaches chasing you to make sure you're getting your shit done. Yeah. This guy over here, he's going to get his work done. He might not be the greatest football player, but that's our job, to develop him. Coach him up. You know, but if he's handling his business, hell yeah, because now that's one guy I ain't got to worry about when I go home at night to my family. Yeah. And that's what guys got to understand. It shows accountability and that you're responsible for yourself. And a lot of people don't want to be responsible for themselves. They want to blame. And that's what grades is broken down to, how I actually looked at it. It's not really about being an A student, a B student. It's more about, are
doing
you responsible?
What you're supposed to.
Yeah, are you responsible enough to do this shit when we tell you to do it?
And the shit is in, like, the shit is in front of you. So you shouldn't. I seen Lil Wayne say it. He's like, school was easy for me. It's like, shit is in front of me. All I had to do was read it. And he made it sound so simple. I was like, damn. I should have paid attention to school.
I mean, it is. I mean, we don't really pay attention, like you said, like that, because we just got this negative connotation already off bat. Like, I'm bucking against this. And it's like, nah, somebody need to be telling us we tripping. And that's what I'm saying. If you ain't got your grades, you tripping.
No, you tripping. Like, there's no point of even touching the weight room, touching the ball, them grades. Listen, man, that's the best. And that's why I'm proud of my son. Like, he ain't the best student, but man, he's staying on that football team and he's keeping them grades. You cannot play with F's and D's. It's over with. When did you want to get into the broadcasting thing? Like, what age was that?
Man.
Who are some of your influences? I always ask you, who are some of your influences? Because you're African American doing this shit, and it's intriguing and it's motivating. So who were some of your influences?
It's crazy, man. I never even dreamed to do this.
You did? That's how I usually go, man.
I never even went after it. You know, it kind of, you know, how life works. You know, what you put out comes back. Yeah. You know, and with starting 4th and Goal, you know, and I'll talk about that later. We can talk about that later. But when I started that and just dealing with so many different people and just getting my knowledge up about the area, and BCSN being so exclusive to Northwest Ohio, you know, I've coached high school football at St. Francis, Central Catholic, head coach at Bowser, even coached little girls basketball at Libby back in the day.
Damn, you was here for a minute.
I've been here since 2005.
Oh, yeah, you was.
You know, since I was 18.
Now Libby is a field. That was a shot, y'all. I'm a boy,
and so, you know, just going from 4th and Goal to coaching, you know, just one day I got a call like, hey, we starting this show.
What year was it?
This was 2016.
2016.
I was actually a recruiting intern at UT, so helping them with recruiting after I did my 1 year at Bowser in 2015. Mm-hmm. And so I'm helping them with recruiting, and a guy from BCSN comes up to me and say, hey, it's like 2 weeks before the show, or a week before the show. He's like, hey, Mike, somebody said that you know football in the area. I'm like, I know a little bit about it.
A lot.
You know, he was like, you know, you seem pretty well spoken. I'm like, you know, I know how to talk, I guess. I went to college. I mean, what you mean? And then he was like, you want to do this TV show? I'm like, bro, I ain't did no broadcasting classes. I'm like, I took one communications class in college. I got an A in it. It was public speaking. And I'm like, we can see. And then from that point on, I came in that Monday. We did a run through. That following week, I'm on a 6-hour TV show live.
Was it hard? Like, how was it when you got in there? Was you nervous? Was you just
man.
like damn? It was just natural.
Yeah, man, because you know.
But you got the love for the game though too, right?
And I think it came from being in college, you know, which is a whole nother chapter, man. Like from being at UT and being a Kappa, you know, and being out, you know, stepping in, you know, hosting step shows.
Oh, you a stepper?
Parties right down the street at the Shadow Lounge with ATM.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, I didn't have the mic in my hand for a long time. You know, I just never done
I
it.
didn't know that part, Mike.
Yeah, I used to the UT
bro.
versus BG fashion shows.
Wow.
Like I was hosting them and setting up I was doing a whole bunch of different things, you know, back in the day, you know, on the party side. And so I just took all that energy and just moved it to, I said, I can't be, you know, I remember my last party doing with DJ Scholar. I think we did, me and DJ
Scholar.
That's my guy, man. We did a lot of business together. And I felt like my last show I did with him, and I was trying to just transition because I was coaching high school football. I'm like, man, I can't be in the club kicking it and just doing this stuff and trying to coach high school football and change these dudes' lives. I'm like, because now I'm living a double life, and they're not going to respect it. So I remember exactly the day that it all stopped. 2010, it was after the season, my first year coaching at St. Francis, and what's the old bowling alley right there by Arnie's now?
Not University Lane?
No. I mean, it was a club for a second. Not.
Talking about UT?
Omni? Yeah.
Omni, yeah, University Lane. That's what it was called.
Okay, yeah. So Omni. So we was up in there, and I remember it was 18.
Oh yeah, Omni, yeah.
And it was like 18 and up or whatever. And I'm walking out, and I see it was Gators back in the day too.
Gators, yep. I remember that.
And then I'm walking out, and I saw two of my players that were seniors. It was 18, and they like, I'm in here lit because I'm having a good time. I'm like 23. I'm trying to kick it still, trying to find my balance. And I see my players, they like, what's up, coach? And I'm in here like embarrassed.
Wasted, like, oh, y'all just sober me up.
Yeah, and so I left, and then that was it. You know, I was like, I'm not ever doing this no more. I'm like, I can't coach and be seen in that light no more. And so from that point on, I really just kind of fell back on that aspect and started taking football serious. And then that's kind of, and just through all of that and through all them years, it kind of led up to all that knowledge and just grinding and understanding stuff and the stuff that even previously happened in college. Is like I was a vice president of student government, and then I resigned. You know, I was homecoming king at Toledo. Like,
I thought you did it big, man.
I had a lot of different.
I know, man.
Yeah, I had a lot of different things that happened to make me feel comfortable. Back to the answer, in front of a camera, where, you know, talking is what I do.
Who was your first? Is it y'all switched casts, didn't y'all? Like people that was hosting with you that?
Yeah, man. We done been through a lot of different people on there, man. It was.
Who was your favorite to work with?
Right now, I like working with the guys we work with now. Anthony Bellino.
Y'all be turned. I like that.
Bellino, he's a good. I like Anthony Bellino. He does the X's and O's bro show. And then work with Mike Jewell, who's a former AD and head coach at Bowser. It's a good cast, man. Like I said, because everybody know the football, everybody understand what we talking about, and we got a good, chemistry in the room, so we can talk about whatever and be able to bounce off, even if it's like a boring game. We know how to get it going.
Yeah, because I seen y'all switch to a boring game. I ain't gonna say the name's Rogers.
You take it for real.
Yeah, man. You know what it is, man. They know what it is when they come to the board down other houses. This person, I think y'all want to be there for this one. How y'all do that? How do y'all even determine? Because some kids, not kids, school. Some parents don't understand. I understand the business. I know. Yeah. It's common sense with some shit. How do y'all dictate the game? Because some people be like, well, my kid game went on tonight. You be like,
there's actually a group of people that decide that, and it's crazy that I'm not a part of that decision making because I used to be.
You know your shit.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I don't want to go on TV looking like I don't know what I'm talking about. But we used to be a part of that selection process, like me and Mike Jewell, and then over the past 2 years since COVID, process has changed. I ain't got no call for no meetings, but I be looking at some of the games like I would definitely choose some other games.
Other games where it'd be like,
yeah.
That was a game I was watching. I was just like no knock on no kids. This is my true podcast show. We don't got no feel. Who the fuck cares about this game? Like, it was like, how is this? Like, I don't be understanding it. But I'm thankful. I don't want nobody that's watching this. I'm thankful for BCS, and I love one of my favorite apps. It's in front of my phone. I love it around this season, man. My favorite season, that is. But did you ever work with Tom Cole?
Yeah, so I worked with Tom Cole. Actually, he was one of the first people that I kind of ran into that's kind of interviewed me. Like back in 2010, I want to say was it 2010 or 2012 at the City League Championship? Yeah. we hosted our first Northwest Ohio underclassmen showcase, and they got me to come on TV and talk at weight, and I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. So I came in suited and booted on BCSN, and never knew that I'd ever be on the other side of that mic, and never even dreamed and even want to even be on the other side.
Didn't.
And it's just so it was kind of cool just to see, the people that was there before me, almost ushered me in, without even knowing.
Because I remember when one BCSN, it was just Channel 5, and they would just go on the show in the Sky Libby games, and they would show some football games.
Yeah.
I don't think, no, it wasn't called BCSN. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
To take this time, just take a little break time out to say, man, part of the community, we appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.
From 4th and Goal to everything you do, just hearing your story, coming from Cleveland, and coming to this small city, and just to be able to take hold of the youth and push the youth and learn the knowledge and want to learn our city, we gotta appreciate you. People say certain shit, who cares? They're gonna talk.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you, man, I'm giving you flowers and telling you, man, as one of the brothers in the community, man, we appreciate you and keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Keep going. Please, man, leave a legacy for my kid to watch, other people's kids to watch, and whoever watching this, I want you to be inspired by this. You know what I'm saying? No cap, this man is one person I've been watching for years. I just sit back, coming from the streets, you sit back and you just watch shit, and you just be like, man, damn. This dude really, then I was watching the 4th and Goal, I'm like, damn. Because there was a time when I got hurt and I was just sitting in the bed, I was just watching your movement with the shit, watching the kids work out. Shit, there was a point I was just living through your page, just looking at the shit, because I'm like, damn, I can't wait till my kid to get to high school. And I remember the first time I got to meet you, we was at the Maumee Valley, and you was helping my son on his footwork, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, bro.
Ain't no doubt, man. Like I said, it's really, like I said, I get a lot of, pushback from people, and it's really weird. And I want to get into it a little bit. They be like, yo, go back to Cleveland. And I'm like, what? Why would I go? And literally, it's some stuff that I've heard over the years. Like, well, you ain't even from here. And I'm like, but you got to change your mind and embrace somebody that want to be here and help here. And I've worked with over 15,000 student athletes that's earned over $30 million in scholarships, here in the city. And that's not necessarily to brag about it, but it's about that's the potential that we got in this city, and there's more. So I believe in, you got to support people that's on the same path to help our youth, and that's what the problem is now is we got a lot of youth out here. They need good mentors, they need good people, but we all got to come together at some point to push that agenda together.
Most definitely.
And so that's what it's about for me.
With that, and that also brings me up, I want to say R.I.P. Melvin Thomas.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's an example of we got to look after people like you, because, man, you just never know. We need somebody who wants to do that with the kids, because there'll be the people that say, like you said, go back to Cleveland, do this. Well, is you going to fill this void?
Right.
Because Melvin gone, and I can't name him if I'm going to fill this shoe. It's going to be tough. And guess who get hurt? The youth. Mm-hmm. It's hurt. It's hurting. So,
And to touch on that, guys like Flex, like Paulie, when I was coaching at Central Catholic, it's a fun story I like to share it, and I'm going to share it about Paulie. Paulie was on Facebook acting a fool, just being goofy like he was. I had to go tell Paulie, hey, this coach is looking for you, bro, but you can't have a Facebook page trying to be the funny guy, because ain't nobody going to give you no scholarship. Paulie deletes his Facebook, didn't want to do it. He did it, reopened it, got the offers, and went to Miami of Ohio. And it's like, who would have told him that? Who would have told him to stop being you, to change to become a better person? And you got to have those people in your corner. And Paulie's a pillar in this community, in my opinion, because he's somebody that comes from the hood that went to the Catholic school, was a dog-ass football player, one of the best to come out of the city.
I think people forget he played football at Miami.
One of the best, period. Both sides of the ball, I ain't capping. Paulie was a beast. And people don't realize that because he's such a humble dude. Yeah. He's such a chill dude, and we got to protect people like him too.
Yeah,
because
also
he's helping bring
people
up.
He was out there too, and then be thankful. He survived. yeah, we got it around this time right now. There's no there's no regards for certain people. Don't have no regards for life right now. So, like you said, we got to protect our own and protect each other.
Each other, absolutely.
Even if a motherfucker don't get along, like, man, we got to protect. Like, cause I'll be in some meetings where they be like, well, I don't like him because he did this. Like, I'm an example. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the table. I see, and I hope she don't get mad for me saying this. Alexis Means, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Real good person to me, you know what I'm saying? When you call, she answer. I'll be seeing people like on there calling her out her name, saying this. I'm like, y'all don't even know how much this lady, you can call this lady any time of the night and she'll give you some game. She'll tell you what it is and stuff. And that type of shit bothers me because they'll try to paint a picture of a person, a good-hearted person, and y'all push that person away. Y'all don't want to do that. But,
absolutely. Yeah, you can't, and she does a great job. Like I said, and it's her job.
Yeah.
She's just doing her job, and it's like, you ain't got to say shit if you ain't got nothing nice to say. Yeah. Because it's like, why put negative vibes out? Like, why would I spit negative energy towards you? Yeah. Because it's only going to come back to me negative. It's only going to make me negative. And it's like, I don't know, like, people just got to learn how to just love, like, and just let that hate go. Man. Let that shit go.
You know, hating, man, they say it's easier to hate than love, for real. That some people rather do right than go wrong, wrong than go right, I mean. So, you know, but get back on it before we lose the subject. No, yeah. You get to the TV, I want to touch on the coaching aspect. Yeah. How did you get into the coaching thing?
Like I said, it started because I came to UT, I wanted to play ball here, and that didn't end up happening for me. And that's to my own fault. You know, I wasn't mature enough, like I said. I didn't grow up until I was about 24, 25. It took me
That's how I usually go.
It took a little long time to figure out, you know, who I was, and especially not having a dad. Yeah. You know, I really think that shit matters. So with my kids, I am like locked in because I'm looking at all the holes that I had in my life that I knew that my dad should have been there to fucking
You came up out of Cleveland.
You know, I'm like, I needed that because it's such a big city. And it's easy to get wrapped in that because you can go any way you want to go. Yeah. You know, here it's just like, okay, it's this, but it's concentrated. But there it's like, it's a little flavor for everything that you want. Yeah. And so, you know, the coaching stuff came because my first job was at not my first job. My second job. My first job I actually liked. I don't know which one it was. I had a lot of jobs in high school. I was about that bread. My mom wouldn't buy my clothes. I had to go work and get my own shit. Damn. And I had to be fresh. I'm like, shit, I go get my own. I didn't have a problem working because I liked it. And I work at the spots that give me the discount. And so for coaching, I worked at a summer camp with Amy Hertz. Love them and their family. My science teacher, it was his neighbor. And he was just like, Mike, I used to get this man hell. I gave that man hell because, you know, he was a new teacher and you could just smell it on him. And we just be sitting there here, Mr. Becker. We be
just sitting back like, yeah, we ready.
Yeah, like, come on, Mr. Becker. We used to be bullying him like, throw that movie on. Throw that movie on, man. We ain't trying to do none of that work. And he one day had a conversation with me. I'm glad he did. He's like, Mike, man, you real charismatic. Everybody like to follow you. He said, man, but why you gotta be that way? I'm like, man, I don't know. He's like, man, you should just go coach. And then I got the job working at a youth camp in the summer. And from that time on, I was like, man, I can get paid to do this. This is kind of fun. Yeah. You know, and then it just grew from there. So I started coaching at 15, and I've been doing that since.
Damn, you started at 15?
Yeah, so 15 was when I first got into coaching and started realizing that was low-key my passion. I thought it was teaching, which it is, because I think
teaching.
It's hand in hand, and if you can't teach, you can't coach. You know, and I just didn't want to be in a classroom. And then so the court, the field, the life lessons that you're going to learn, it's a fun way to teach them. And I think that's very important for a lot of young individuals. And so coaching just kind of like wrapped up with me. So at UT, I started in like 2009. I was a student assistant with the equipment staff. And
started from the bottom.
From the damn bottom. I'm talking about washing the drawers in the equipment room, literally in the equipment room, screwing helmets. I mean, literally at the bottom. And so I'm in here just, E-Page was on the team at the time, and a couple other guys. And I'm sitting over here just like...
was it the year he bust Ohio State ass?
Nah, it was a couple years later after that. He did that. That was his All-American year, I want to say. He was a freshman then. But anyway, but doing that, I got to work under Steve Clinkscale, who's the defensive coordinator now at Michigan. And so he was the corners coach, and I would just... Every day I'd be up underneath him. He'd be giving me all the stuff, teaching me. And then I took a job that next summer in Massachusetts. And I was in Western Massachusetts for a summer for about 3 months. Worked at an all sports camp out there. This is like 2009, 10, somewhere around there. And I did that for a while. And for one summer, and then that's when I started 4th and Goal. I was there, and I'm like, you know what? It was a football program that didn't exist when they brought me out there. It was like, hey, we want you to come out here, run our football program. I'm like, cool. There was no football program. So I had to convert kids that were soccer players and all these other kids into football. And I started getting these soccer players, and they would start, teaching them the shit that I'm learning from Toledo. Yeah. And these kids out here pretty good. And so we had these tournaments versus these other camps out here in the mountain, these summer camps. And we went on a tear. We went on from camp to camp to camp. We didn't lose a game. And then those kids there, one kid named Sean Kim, this Asian kid, I never forget Sean Kim. He was the first kid, I call him my first project. Yeah. And he left soccer, continued to play football at Horseman, and had a super career in high school. And he didn't play in college, but it changed him, and it gave him that opportunity to go play where he wouldn't have had that. And that affected me in a big way because he'd always call me. He was living in New York. He'd always call me like, Coach, hey, I did this, man. Thank you for teaching me the game, showing me, and I'm like, that feeling just felt so good because it's a residual energy to make me want to continue to give. Yeah. And I'm like, I got to continue to help people because that's one guy that just needed one thing. Yeah. And we all just need one push. Yeah, and it's like, and if I can help each one reach one, each one teach one, right? Yeah. And I'm like, let me just keep going. And then came back from there, super motivated. I think I did another fall with Toledo. And then here's one for you. Scott High School. Had a job interview for Scott High School.
Oh, man, what year?
This was 2010. So I had an interview.
Long ago.
I had an interview for my first job to be an unpaid assistant at Scott. And so
them was a rebuild years.
I was going to meet with the coach, and he had kids that day. And I didn't know, so I'm sitting up here in Burger King waiting for this interview. And he in the hospital having his children, but didn't let me know. I don't know nothing. So next thing you know, I'm just sitting here in Burger King like, anybody gonna show up? So guess what? I'm like, well, I'm dressed, ready for an interview. Walk my ass over to St. Francis. Got the job on the spot.
Damn, we always doing some shit.
And
like
got
that.
the job on the spot and got paid. And I said, man, you know what persistence is? Was that the difference between just sitting there and saying, okay, I could have took a shitty situation, could have went home, been mad, could have been mad at the world, at that coach. He had a baby. That was something that he couldn't control, right? Mm-hmm. But the persistence to say, man, I'm going to go to this next spot and see what's happening. And St. Francis, I'm like, no way I'm going to get a job over there. They just came off of 3 rounds deep in the playoffs. Walk right up over there and fall right in line, and so that was God.
So you did St. Francis. Hold on, let me get this. Yeah. You did St. Francis, and then you went to, what the young dudes call it, the Ops.
I went to the Ops.
You went to the Ops.
I went to the Ops.
How was that?
Man, it's crazy how that happened. So I'm coaching at St. Francis. Like I said, I'm not from Toledo. So my first 5 years from 2005 to 2010.
So you weren't even thinking about it.
2005, 2010, I don't even know none of this shit exists down here besides Shadow Lounge, Rain, whatever the clubs were down here, I was at them. That's the only thing I knew. Outside of that, none of this other shit mattered. So from 10 to now is when I kind of start realizing that there was shit around the campus other than the university, because people that's not from here that come to Toledo,
they just know.
We only know the campus. And you know the mall and you know downtown a little, but you don't know the city.
Yeah.
And so it took me some time, and so I took that job, and that obviously ingratiated me because now I'm at St. Francis, you know, coaches going around, practices, meeting people and stuff like that. And that's when I was starting 4th and goal. And actually, when I was over there, they didn't know, one guy that was over there, he ain't there no more. He told me that it wouldn't even be successful. Yeah, homie he was like, when I was starting it up, you know, and as a young black cat, you know, that really bothered me.
That heated you up.
And
was he black that told you that?
Absolutely not. Oh, you know that.
Oh,
and so,
yeah.
And so he was like, man,
that's another show.
He said, them kids on. He was like, man, they don't. He was like, why would they want to work in the off season? Because after that 2010 season with my team, I'm looking at my DBs and my receivers. I'm like, what are y'all doing in the off season, bro? I'm like,
nothing.
Y'all, and they was like, what you mean? Now take it back in 2001, 2000 in Cleveland. You had a guy named Mark Harris who had, you know, a thing called Raw Talent, and he's been training guys since then to now. Mm-hmm. And that's the first time I ever heard of football trainers. Like he was like one of the first people to be like sports specific high school football training. And this was in Cleveland, and he's from Shaker, and so he started grabbing us. I went and worked out with him once in like 2003. Like I said, I wasn't even that serious. Mm-hmm. And so fast forward 2010, I get to Toledo. That shit just doesn't exist here.
No, not at all.
It didn't exist. And so when I'm talking to my DBs and my receivers, I'm like, well, I guess it's time to get this shit employed. You know, and so went full board with that and started building that. And so I did one more year at St. Francis. And then this was something that really bothered me. While I was coaching, we had a game in Parma. And Parma on the Cleveland area is a really side of town that you ain't trying to be in.
Oh, yeah.
You one of us.
Yeah.
And like Parma Town Mall, as a black man, you ain't going to Parma Town Mall. You going to get arrested.
My daddy told me that before.
You don't go to Parma. And so we had a game in Parma. And so we riding over. I'm being funny. Like, y'all know I don't go to Parma, right? Like, you know, we don't ever go to Parma. Like, you know, this is weird. I'm like, this is weird for me. I'm like, you know, but I had a whole bunch of family and shit because it's the first time I'm coaching near the crib. So all my family and friends are at the game, and I'm coaching at St. Francis, and the game ends. All this, I'm not going to go into the details, but they matter. The details matter, but I'm not going to go into them.
Oh, boy.
At the end of the game, the other coach, I mean, it was a crazy game. End of the game, we win. I'm walking to the other side and to go shake the hands with the other coaches. Coach from the other side said, I'm the only black coach out here. Me. I think Willis Behringer might have been there too.
My dude.
Yo, Will was there, and he put me on game with a lot of stuff too. We walking on the field, somebody pointed at me like, the coach was like, get him or something like that. I'm like, what? It was just something that make you say, like, what?
What you talking about?
Exactly. And I turn around. Head coach like, just walk away. I turn around again. 2 cops escort me to the sideline.
Man, what?
Listen. And so they like, you just need to get up off the field. I'm like, whatever. You know, so I'm walking towards to the bleachers to my family. Cops was like, you know what? Let's just get up out of here.
Just get out of here.
Embarrassed me in front of all my people. I didn't do nothing. It's on tape.
They was waiting for you to do something.
And I'm the only black person, and this is Parma. This is Padua. Parma Padua. This was their 50th year anniversary or something like that, and they sick because they lost. And so they walked me through. You got the bleachers on this side, on the home side, bleachers on this side, and then it's like an entrance right here where they team come out of. Our buses over here. We can just walk down there. He walked me through here. I get called every N-word possible in the book, and then I look, and as we walking away with the cop, I talk to him. I'm like, you know, I'm not from Toledo. You know, I'm from Shaker, and he looked at me like, I'm like, yeah, I know what this is, and then he just kind of like,
Had that face right here.
And I'm like, I know what this is, man. And I'm like, this is some bullshit, and then from that point on, I got in trouble at St. Francis. They told me I made the community look bad.
Yeah, that's the bullshit.
And I had to sit in the press box for the rest of the season because they had to reprimand me for not You know, for whatever I did, I didn't do anything wrong.
Sound like they had some buddies down there. That's what it sounded like.
And so that happened, and then the coach got let go at the end of the season. So at that point, I could have made a decision to say, F this, adversity, I can quit when it's hard. And because I had that meeting, and I'm like, and they told me that's what they was going to do with me. I'm like, but I sat back, I called my mom, I'm like, man, what do I do? She was just like, man, you going to quit at the first sign of the trouble? I said, you right. You're right. And I stuck with it, finished the season out, and they let the staff go. And so, funny thing is, off seasons around, I'm thinking about still hanging around at St. Francis because the head coach got let go, not me. You know, so I'm still just kind of lingering around. I'm working at Pizzapopolis, delivering pizzas, and I drive over to Central Catholic or 2550 Cherry Street, and it's raining outside. Grab my St. Francis jacket, don't know what 2550 Cherry is. I think that's the address. I pull up, and I got a delivery for a Dempsey. I mean, or somebody else, another coach, or the athletic department. And so now it's raining outside. I got the St. Francis jacket on.
Oh, and you don't know shit what's going on.
No, I knew that was our rival because we played them, but I didn't know it was Central, but it was raining. I wasn't taking my jacket off.
Oh, so you didn't know where you was going. You just seen the address.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And so I pull up with this. I'm like, dang, I'm not taking my jacket off because it's raining. And I'm like, maybe I just got to go to the front desk or whatever. I had to walk into the staff room with Dempsey, all these coaches.
Oh, they are just looking like.
They looking at me like.
Fuck you.
I'm like, hey man, I ain't know where I was going, y'all. And then that's my first interaction with Dempsey. And then later on that off season, we just kept talking. And then I actually was just talking to him about setting up my showcase.
Dempsey's a good dude too.
And then we just talked a little bit more, and then it ended up turning to a job, you know. And then that's how I ended up at Central, you know. And I was like, you know, why not? You know, I got to coach somewhere, and why not go over here and coach with the dude that just kicked our ass named Deshaun Kaiser, you know?
Oh, you played that? Oh, you coached.
I coached 2012, 13, and 14, so I won the 2012 state championship with them and the 2014 state championship.
Look, bro, T1 played on there.
T1 he was one of my first fourth and goal guys, man.
Yep, him and my dude Josh Telefero, man.
Josh, both of them, man.
Yep,
I used to go pick them dudes up. And T1 for sure.
Josh and T1 advocate for you so heavy, man. They always say.
They're my dudes, man. I literally, like I said, I was 22, 23 out here. I ain't had no money. Like I said, I'm out here driving these dudes around, picking them up, trying to take them to get them right. And like I said, and I was training T1 before I was even coaching him.
Wow.
You know, and then I ended up being his position coach, and then we won a state championship that year. And it was just like, and then Josh, you know, he just ended up turning up too over at Rogers.
Yeah.
And so it was just real dope, you know, for those couple of years to see those guys be the first like products of the process and just how live they were, you know, because T1, man, I got old videos, man. I got videos to show like he ain't had no footwork.
I don't never want to show and see T1 don't ever want to show no footage. Josh don't care about showing his footage.
T1 was a dog. T1 could play safety, he could play corner. I mean, T1 put the work in, man, and he really, I think he was an underrated player. Him and Derek Whelan, two other guys, my two corners, man. Them dudes was my two corners for 2 years, man. Shut shit down. I mean, I ain't have to worry about nothing.
That's crazy. I just seen this Sean Kaiser little brother. He a referee now.
Yeah.
And I seen him, and we was fucking with him like, damn, do you throw any flags? We're like, but we happy he out there, but we just fucking with it because we need some youth in the referee community.
Absolutely, we do.
Lot. But just to have him out there, the kids, I'm like, man, y'all know who his brother is. His brother played in the league and everything. He got and he come from this same community you all in.
Absolutely,
Mid City Spartans, man. So
it's so much talent though, just in Toledo. You know, it's just about cultivating it. You know, it's like, man, like I've been around East Toledo, North Toledo, West Toledo.
East Toledo got some dogs.
It's so much talent over there. I was hanging out with Terry over at the Weilers and hanging out with him. He's the program director, and just talking to him about just, you know, volunteering my time. You know, I'm like, I'm not afraid to go over to the Weilers, you know, like, and
projects.
You know, I'm not, hey, look, man, it's like if you really about your mission, what you afraid of? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm gonna go over here and go holler at them. What's going on? Like, what do we need? Like, ain't nobody going to do that. Everybody willing to say, hey man, don't go over there. It's fucked up over there. It's like, what do we need? What we need
to get them out. We gotta help them people. Man, that's deep that you said that, because we don't never think about it's the kid in the projects. It's the kid in the low house. He might have no cleats, but if you get him a pair of cleats, man, he can make $1 million or get him a free education.
And it's just like, what do we need? It's like, we gotta look out for each other more. And it's just like, whether you white, black, or whatever, it's just like, we a community, bro. Like, we gotta, you know, I should feel as comfortable. Like, so I did two events this summer for the city of Toledo, the Ultimate Sports Camp, one at Friendship Park and Point Place, and then one at Navarre Park. And, you know, and being over there at the Navarre Park one, man, and just seeing the difference between Friendship Park and Navarre Park, you know, it's just like the kids don't just be coming outside. You know, and the two parks are different areas, but it's the same thing. Kids don't come outside. So we got this music going on. We're trying to just get them back and rejuvenate these communities by giving them stuff to do. You know, and so to be over there for a week, and then to have the people just kind of like, we was out there from 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 p.m., you know, so literally all day, music blasting. And it's like, man, these kids just need something to do. They need somebody that's willing to invest in them. And so shout out to the city, you know, for sponsoring that, because it made a huge impact on those kids just because.
They remember it forever.
And I went over to the Wilers and I was knocking on the door like, hey, man, hey, let's go, bro. Like, it's a free camp. Come on. It's free. Like, I got all college athletes working this camp.
That's dope.
Come work. Just come out. All I need you to do is just get out here. And then there's some people like, oh, don't go support him. You don't know what he's talking about. Or, you know, and then you get the hate, and it's like, man, you ain't hurting me.
You ain't hurting me, you hurting these kids.
You hurting them. And it's like, and we got to stop accepting people. Like, I don't let people talk shit about nobody around me. Like, if you come around me and you talking shit about somebody, I'll change the subject. Or I'll be like,
but you shouldn't want to put that type of energy in the air. Like, you should just be like, even if you feel some type of way about a person, you should be like, man, look, it's a bigger mission, bro. I just feel like
absolutely
we got to see the bigger picture in life with certain shit. Like, I was watching yesterday, my dude and then when these was arguing over turkey legs. And I'm looking like
turkey leg.
Man, my dude Rock, he got, you know, you ever heard of Turkey Leg Hut in Houston? Where they specialize in nothing but turkey.
Yeah.
Everything they do is with turkey legs.
Yeah.
Stuffed turkey legs. Pretty fucking good. If you ever get to Houston and get one, go there. It's amazing. My dude Rock, he got it. You know what I'm saying? He started his, you know, he was working out the house. He got a truck. Now he got a restaurant that's about to open. Yeah. And they both be selling turkey legs. A Turk Lido dude, it's a young dude. He be doing his thing, man.
Yeah.
It's decent too. All right. They on Facebook. They arguing so bad. Like, I don't even, like,
about
nothing. Just, you stole my idea. First of all, y'all got this idea for somebody from Houston.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. Second of all, both of your food is decent to me, honestly. You know what I'm saying? And third of all, you making money, he making money. What's your argument?
It's enough money to be made.
Yeah, it's like,
it's
like we just got to learn to just come together and see the bigger picture, man.
Yeah.
Because I ain't going to be able to reach everybody. Like, Paulie got auntie house, I got this.
Absolutely.
People go back and forth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, we're just talking about the music videos. Like, it's just crazy how people don't see the bigger picture with shit, so.
Yeah, because everybody's so territorial, you know, and then it just spreads because and that's why I try to be as open as possible, just to be vulnerable to a sense and say, look, man, I'm not afraid. I don't have no ego. Yeah. I don't have an ego. Like, when people talk to me, they're like, damn, you cooler than what I thought. I'm like, what the fuck did you think? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who was you listening to? Like, because most of the time it'd be people talking about me. And I'm like, I don't even know who that person is.
I'm like, I'm not even from here.
I'm like, bro, I have never had a conversation with you. What you think you know me because you heard me say something on TV, or you?
Oh, you know they can't stand it when you're on TV.
Oh man, listen, and the thing isn't like I said, being on TV and it don't bother me. Like I said, I was a homecoming king as a sophomore in college. Like, bro, like that was more crazy for me because I got exposed to a whole different world, you know, once that happened. And so it's more so like I said, just coming together to a sense where, like, yeah, you got homeboys with two turkeys. It's like, well, shit, if y'all motherfuckers work together, y'all could be E-team. Because now y'all put your minds together, drop that ego. Look, we can have Turkey Toledo. Look, you banging up on West Side, I'm banging up over here, and then we sitting here working on the plan to get down to Finley to get over here. Let's get this money together.
Turkey off or something. Like
let's get money together. Say we can be good competition. Like I saw a meme today on Facebook. Somebody talking about like A&W and AW Root Beer and Bargs. You know, like these two compete, but you don't never hear them talk. At all. You don't never see an ad between them beefing like Wendy's and McDonald's will on social media.
They put a whole sign up.
You know what I mean? Like, but they don't argue. They can keep it. They give the same product, but if you believe in what you do, sort of like how I feel about my product before they go, I don't advertise like that. I don't care about what nobody got to say. I believe in my product, and once you try it, you can be like, damn, this shit was pretty damn good. You know, despite whatever the hell you heard. And that's the same thing with the stuff. Like, I don't have to talk about whoever else is doing. I'm like, somebody say something to me like, hey, man, what you think about this trainer? They good. What do you think about them? It ain't about me.
It wasn't me,
It ain't. You trying to get a reaction. And it's like, and you got to know how to compartmentalize people, too, because
they'll set you up for the play and how you be like, and I'm one of the people, I just be talking about, I'm a talking to probably talking, they be like, yeah, man, what you think about such and such? Man, fuck him. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Now you about to run back and you don't know why I just said that. You know what I'm saying? They can try to twist your words and set you up in a stupid ass play for real. So
just to button that up though, like I said, just the two things. Again, back to the Turkey Boys. Yeah. Like I would love to see. I call them Turkey Boys, but
they was calling each other Jive Turkeys. Man, I'm like.
Not jive turkeys.
Man, on the whole stack, they calling each other, hashtagging each other, calling each other. I'm like, I think knowing Big Rock, it's a play behind it. I hope so.
Hey, it's got to be. If not, look, we about to host it right now. It's going down Turkey off right here.
Right here. Y'all come downtown right here.
Hey, right here in this parking lot. Let's get it popping, like I said, and make money off of that. Like I said, man, it's no beef, just growth, man. Like, ain't no need to beef with each other, man. You getting money, you getting money. How can we get money together? Yeah. How can we get money together? That's what it's about at the end of the day. Let's count these ends. Like, let's keep it business, man. Like, you can keep it business and keep it player, man.
You can't. Some people don't know how to do that. I think them two brothers can do because them two good dudes. Some just don't. But I want to get your opinion on some of the players. I know they're going to watch this. They asked me to ask you. Who is some of your top players in the Northwest Ohio?
Oh man, it's a lot of good players in Northwest Ohio.
Some of your favorites, man.
Some of my favorites. I really ain't got favorites, man. It depending on how I'm looking at it.
All right.
If I'm starting,
when you wake up in the morning, old school, you pop in the paper, you just be like, I gotta see something. What he did.
Okay, so if I'm checking on players, a lot of the time, to be honest, I check on the guys that really come work with me at 4th and Goal.
That's fair.
You get what I'm saying? Like, because I deal with so many of those guys over the time, you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, it's like, you know, I'd rather see what my guys are doing. But as far as fantasy-wise, like if I'm building a team and who's some of the guys around here, we had this conversation on the BCSN podcast this morning.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm starting with quarterback, like just Toledo, I'm going Tywan Clark.
One of my favorites. That's a little bro.
Why? To where he's at to now, he's coached up. He understands the game of football. His IQ's there.
And I'm going to imagine if COVID never happened that year.
If he didn't get injured too.
Yeah, I forgot he had the knee thing.
Yeah, he had to take that on his junior year. So. And he did a phenomenal job at Wade as a freshman, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think Tywan Clark's one of my favorite players just to kind of watch and just kind of see how he develops because, you know, it's always a stereotype about the black quarterback.
No, he can slang that motherfucker.
And I want to see him, you know, be successful, you know, just to kind of keep killing that stigma. Outside of that, you know, over at Whitmer, Bowman, like I said, he's one of my favorite guys to watch. Kelly. Jason Kelly.
I've been watching him.
He's a killer.
That's one of my son's close friends. I've been watching him since because he can hoop too. This thing killed me. When he got to high school and hoop, it broke me. But now I've seen them offers from football.
Oh, yeah.
He's a dog. His dad got a crazy workout program.
Man, his dad used to bring him over to do some speed agility work with me, and because I would see him on Facebook doing them, I'm like, man, what the hell? You got a little gym, a little celery?
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
all that shit. Yeah,
I was like, damn. I'm like, I like that. Yeah. And I watched him doing that, and I'm like, man, whenever you need him to get his feet right, bring him over to me. And then we started kind of connecting like that.
As nephew.
Because I'm like, yeah, man, because I encourage that, because it got to start from home if you're going to be a dog. Yeah. And that should be a blueprint right there. Put that damn work in, and you can't be playing video games or trying to impress these chicks thinking that shit going to work. I tell people all the time, they better in college.
Just business, man.
Just wait till you get to college, bro. Like, man, don't be stunting them right now.
Tell my son, I can't wait till we watch this. Him and his friend Carnell and Daryl now.
Yeah, just wait, and for Scott, and shit, let's give Scott their flowers right now.
Man,
like, they doing their thing because only team in the city league just got dubs at this point.
3 supposed to be 4-0, but man, we let a heartbreaker go.
But I'll be honest too, the schedule's kind of soft. But they did it the right way though, and I don't have a problem with that. That's the thing. I don't have a problem. You trying to rebuild a program. You can't be going out here scheduling top tier teams. You're not Central Catholic. If Scott go out here and try to schedule St. Ed's week 1, it'd be done for the rest of the season.
And I see a lot of other teams doing that. And I also say, I will say this about the schedule.
Yeah.
If we had that same schedule last year that when we went to the playoffs, that the team before the last and the year before the last did not win a game. And I have to give Rasan Wilson, Rye, his flowers because them kids believe. And part of the reason I only took my son to Scott is Coach Craig, but my son I wasn't on him playing football. I was like, I'm cool because he had this, when he played for St. Francis, he played St. Edwards, he fucked his wrist up real bad. Yeah. And I was like, stick to hooping, man. Fuck this football. Like, I play football. I'm like, man, I got a limp, I got this, I got that. But he was like, he snuck to practice. He's like, man, Coach Rod, the coach. That's what I want to be. And then him and Carnell's like best friends, so it's like that too.
Gotta let him do it.
So like you said, I'm glad you gave him their flowers. We don't, we hear.
Yeah, because like I said, and it's like, and there's levels to it, and we understand that. Hey, man, and it's okay, because the thing is, it's about managing it. Like I said, I was a head coach at Bowser. I get it. I had to go.
Oh yeah, you had Bowser.
I had to go down to Massillon and take my young.
You went to Massillon
with my young ass team. My O-line ain't blocked nobody. Delonte Brown actually tore it up that game. For his only year in high school, he played with me. I appreciate Delonte, man, because I convinced him to come out and hoop, and I had to go to a lot of basketball games in the summer. I was sitting in a lot of gyms in the summer, like, hey, man,
come play.
Come be my guy, And I think 4 to 5 starters that year played football for me. But we went down there and we got paid. I think the school got paid like $5,000 to go play, and it wasn't worth it for me because I had to take my guys down there before City League week 5 and go get our ass whooped, and then come back injured and banged up. So it was like it made it tough. So it was like the hardest part about that makes it, about scheduling teams like that is sometimes it's up to the AD. The AD got to have an idea of what the hell is going on, because if I'm an AD with a TPS school right now, you got to schedule soft as possible because you want to build confidence, and that's what's happening at Scott right now. Like I said, they're playing against teams that they can compete against and that they can win. Whether they lose this game to Clyde or not, it doesn't matter because their confidence is up. They got 3 games in the win column. All these kids at Start, at Bowser, at Waite and Woodward, guess what they saying? I'm ready to quit. They ready to pack it in and get ready for basketball season. So football is no longer any fun for them. So it's like you got to find a way to soften that blow, because next week when the City League start, we go to
Woodward Thursday night, so
it gets going. I'll be there. I'll be calling that game.
Oh, we on Thursday.
TV? Thursday nights. That's Thursday nights. I'm gonna be CSM. Me and my man Tim Clagg will be calling that game.
I can't wait.
And we like to see that because, like I said, the teams are even. Yeah. And it's just not fun, like watching Rogers get housed by Southview.
Yeah, I thought they would have gave Southview some break, but now watching them weeks later, they the truth.
They good. They put the work in. Like I said, 4 of those top players, I see them in the offseason.
That quarterback,
Both of them.
And a running back.
They alternate quarterbacks every single
They
play.
do?
Every play.
So ain't the same dude. He
Every
was slinging
play.
that mug.
They be like, here, you in. Like, they running plays, and it's crazy. It's crazy that they doing it. But you get to see them from year in, year out, just developing. And for Rodgers, like I said, I thought they was gonna come in doing something because they was howling, boy. I tell you,
they was on our team a little bit last year. They went to all the little, One of my dudes, especially Coach McNeil. That's my dude. My son loves him, man. I appreciate how he works with my son. Yeah. But they on the other side of the fence now, so
Yeah.
It was but what they we building over on is Scott football wise. I enjoy it because I just remember. Even when we went down to, we played Port Clinton in the playoffs, I was like, I know but what I love about our kids, you couldn't tell them.
No, you can't tell them. And they shouldn't feel that way.
And they went back in the day, I ain't gonna lie, we'd be like, God damn, I played my freshman year. I had the honor and joy of watching, I dressed for the Drew Sean Humphrey game to watch him, and I was just like the whole time, like, man, we in school, like, we about to get our ass whipped. Yeah. We watch him every Friday. He got Jim Tressel walking through Rodgers. Right. Like, it's crazy.
That guy's unhuman.
TV is going crazy. And Willis Behringer, he was a junior when I was a freshman, or he's a senior, I believe. Yeah. Nate Washington, I got to play with him. Ian Townsend, Coach Matt was our coach. I got to play with them guys. And it was just dope watching that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But our confidence was shitty when it came down to it. But one thing I got to say, I remember in high school, we was not scared of no Central or no St. John's.
Yeah, like, it's different now, man. Like, I think it's just it's the lack of confidence because I think it stems from youth football. Yeah. Where, people, and this is what kills me. Like,
you about to say what I'm about to think about.
Because you look at like Central Catholic, you look at St. John's, and then the same shit happens in Cleveland. Like I said, with St. Ed's and Ignatius, the top players from the top youth teams go to the Catholic schools where it's the best programs, right? And it's because they got the resources. And so it's like you complain about, like, people will complain, and I'm talking more so City League, about losing the top 4 or 5 players, but there's 15 to 30 other players on that team. Mm-hmm. Why we not developing them? Knowing that your top 5%, your top 5 kids ain't going to TPS. Mm-hmm. You ain't convincing them, or whatever. And if you do, good, right? Count them as a loss. So you're going to lose kids anyway. But the other kids, why we not developing them? Why we not focusing on them? We can't just be like, look, we're going to run a toss sweep to the fastest kid every play because we know we're trying to win this championship. It can't be about winning championships. It's got to be about development. Mm-hmm. Championships are won at the high school level. A youth championship means shit to a college recruiter. No. They don't give a shit about how many youth league All-American titles you got, because that shit don't mean shit 4 years down the line if you don't grow, if you don't become a better player, if you ain't got grades. So it's like you got to stop, hyping it up to a point where it's like, man, like this kid's this and this and this, and then it's the rest of these kids. Now they get to the high school and they the guys that got no playing time, no attention. And so now they get to high school. Oh, man, they suck over there. This team trash. But they was on your youth team. Yep. They was on your team. You got to develop these guys so that they can go on and be successful, just like the top tier players. And that's what I look at when I'm training guys. Give me all the JV players in the world because half of those cats is hungry as shit, and they want to be in that varsity spot. But they need somebody to level them up. Because you ain't getting that varsity coach love because you ain't there yet. Yeah. But in that transitional time, which I feel for the youth players, that junior high time, they need that love to be transitioned to high school, whether they're going to be a top-tier guy or not. Because the example is at Bowser. I had one of the best players, they said, that came out of the Stars League or whatever. He was on my team. He played for me on varsity because I had to. He ain't no shit. He ain't no shit. Hey. And I'm like, bro, like, what are we doing? So I bring him in. I'm like, all right, man, I got you out here. What do you know? Like, yeah, you a good talent, but he's just been told he was good and he was the best player. And they just pushed it. And so he out here now.
He was out there for sure.
And I couldn't get him in coverage, and he actually became a liability, and he wasn't even a good player anymore because the game wasn't he wasn't, there. So it's like we got to focus more on developing these guys because they can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't know what the fuck the cover 3 is, cover 4, know how to read 2 in trips,
you fucking useless at this level.
Yeah, and that's why you take the smart kid who got the grades because he gonna study this shit. Yeah. And it's like, well, at least he might not be as athletic as you, but he gonna be right.
He can think for himself. Yeah.
And that's what we got, like I said. So don't use these kids' athletic abilities up. Build their mind up so then that way, when they not as athletic, they can still maintain.
And that's what's so dope. Man, have you ever sat down and talked to Daryl Barnett?
Mm-mm.
Man, you gotta talk to me, man. This kid got one of the best IQs,
yeah.
and he's so. I think by him playing at Scott, I don't think nobody look over him because they post him everywhere.
Yeah.
But just talking to him, like, he got one of the best IQs, and he can play any position. I think kids, I was amazed that he came to Scott. His dad sent him to Scott because he can play for anybody. I feel like in Ohio, he's a real demon.
Mm-hmm.
This is another thing, I think a lot of parents need to be real.
Yeah.
Like you said about the development and all that, I think some kids, they be like, oh, my kid's going to Central, I'm getting, but once they get past that freshman and sophomore year, he ain't going to be there because let's be real, Demp's going to play his best kids. Man, send them to the public school, let him get some, send him to the right public school, let him get some development on the varsity level. When you go to public school, now you're going to play varsity, you're going to get that rec. How you feel about that?
Oh, it just depends on the kid and the player and the family because there's 2 different things you can look at.
Okay.
If I got an offer from Ohio State and I got an offer from Toledo.
Oh, I'm going to Ohio State.
That's how kids look at it. That's how they
I
look
seen
at it.
Kids just go sit the wood straight forward.
Well, I mean, it's like, and I want to correct that one too, because when I was at St. Francis, that's what they told me. They said, oh, they bench all the good players. They take all the good players and stock them up on the bench. I'm like, it wasn't nobody better than T1. That's why he was playing as a junior and as a sophomore.
Yeah, he was different.
And Derek Wheeler, I'm like, and Paulie, they was playing in front of seniors. Like, that shit happens because the best players are going to play, but when you're trying to win, it's levels. When you're trying to win a state championship, you need depth.
Yeah.
Because you can't go into you lose one player. Like, what happens if Scott, God forbid, I'm not even going to say that, just move forward. It's a different team. The different team lose a player, a key player, and you can be like, damn, what happens now? Fuck. It's like the season over? And it's like, you can't have it if you're trying to win a championship because the years that we won a state championship over there, man, we had all types of players playing off positions, all different positions by the end of the year because we had to play what we had left. And it's a good thing we had those mid-tier kids on the team.
Yeah.
So it's like, is your goal to get some burn or is your goal to win and to be a part of a program? Now, some teams aren't programs yet. They're building to become a program. But for the same thing as this, for my kid, if it's my kid at this time of being in high school, I'm looking at what's best for me. If I'm in Cleveland and Shaker Heights ain't popping right now, we going to Eds. Because I'm not about to fuck around and waste my kids' opportunities. Yeah. We going to where I can get it in at. Now, there's nothing wrong with being at a public school, but you just got to be disciplined enough to know not everybody on the same page as you and trying to go to the same place that you trying to go. So you got to just go in overdrive. And so it's like, all right, I might go here, but I know a lot of cats ain't going to go to the level I'm trying to go to, so I got to really just grind it out. It take
a special, like Deshaun Nelson, like, he was a special, like, he went and grinded that shit out.
Bryce Mitchell, like, when I had him over at Bowser, he was the only D1 kid to come out of Bowser, unless somebody else in here could tell me differently. I don't know.
I think
Any other D1 football players that came from Bowser? I can't tell you any. They ain't got no history.
Football?
Yeah.
Shit, no, I can't think about it now right now. No, not at all. You right.
So it's like, and he was on the JV roster when I got there. I'm like, this kid's on JV.
Now he getting.
I was like, man, what this dude doing on JV? I'm like, y'all get this. I got a secret weapon right here. And it's like, you got to have the coaches and people in place to help those kids be seen and be noticed, and so
that's what all come down to the village.
And so that's why what I do and I try to do is important is like with the 419 football brand and 4th and Goal, like, and all the showcases and stuff is like, man, get your ass out here so you can be seen. I take kids down to like what's my boy Stepper? What's his Rambo?
Oh yeah,
Rambo. Like he was one of my 4th and goal guys.
He was Rambo. Was
listen, check this, man. I took him to Florida. I took him to Miami for his first time. Him and the kid from Bowling Green back.
Rambo did play. You know what? I always think about because he tell me this story about his basketball stuff, and I'm like, you play football, bro.
He was a dog. So check it. His senior year, we go down. Going into his senior year, we go down to Miami. I take him and a kid from Steve from Bowling Green. I took them two down to South Florida to go link up with a guy I had met that trained cats in South Florida. And I'm like, let's go down here and see what this is about. We flew out of Detroit down there. Took them, we trained on the beach, went to the football camp down there, and they was just like, what? Like, I ain't never seen nobody move this fast. He said, this is what y'all do? He's like, man, we do this shit every day. And the 6'2" guys down there, they don't hoop. Because you can't be, I mean, let's be real. Cats be up here saying, I'm a center and you 6'2".
No,
you're
a guard, bro.
And these hooping guys out here be telling you, hey, man, stick to hooping. Bruh, you can't be no 6'2" center.
No,
you can get you a scholarship being a 6'2" DB. Easily, you can get Ohio State offer real quick being athletic. You know, and so we went down there. They got exposed to that shit, got cooked up a little bit, cooked them up, came back. Aaron had what was All-State. He came back, and from what he learned down there, he came back and he was All-State his senior year.
Oh, Rambo, you ain't tell me this, Rambo.
I'm talking about out here cooking cats up. Like, learn all the new moves and shit we learned while we was down there. Like, because football is a culture down there.
Yeah.
Like, it's what they do. Like, they wake up and, like, right now during the season, my buddy Sly Johnson, premier athlete, shout out to him. During the season, on Sundays, these dudes still do football, like, real ass, like, ain't no days off. Like, they out here, like, we out here competing and it's like high school coaches up here be like, hell no, take the day off, be easy. But down there, they like, a high school coach couldn't tell you shit because they like, this is my way up out of here. Yeah. And this is what I'm doing. This is what I do. Like, if I'm a rapper or a drug dealer, this is what I'm doing and I'm doing it. And that's how it is.
Ain't no days off.
Ain't no days off, bro. Like, what you mean? This cat's out here getting it. He gonna outshine me. So I try to bring that mentality up here for a lot of cats to be able to understand. And so I take guys, like every couple of years, I'll take a few cats down there so they can go see it. And then they come back up here like, fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, I need to be on the level that these guys on. And then you realize you ain't in Florida because it's a culture down there. Everybody doing it. So,
everybody good.
Yeah, everybody good and everybody doing it. And you go up here, you be like, man, my homies over here playing 2K, smoking a tree and trying to chill and messing with the chicks. And down there, these cats is getting offers in 8th grade because this is their life.
I mean, my son has them talks like, I love some of my little nephews, you know, and I never turn a kid away because he do certain things, right? Yep. But I be having to make them an example for my son. I be like, look at you getting up, going to work out. You getting up, going to practice. This nigga going to get a bag of weed. Like, if you pay attention to the signs, son.
You different.
Like, I also letting up with my homeboy's car, letting hear them jail calls.
Yeah,
it's just crazy what the world is, and
they need that though. They need those examples, and they need a father. Yeah, you know, somebody that's gonna be there to tell you that, because nobody love you like your dad.
Nobody. Like, I tell him that all the time. He be like, man, he be looking at me crazy. Sometimes when I tell him to do something, like, man, you'll thank me later, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, so, you know, man. I also, I want to ask you, the track. What's going on with the track?
Breaking up, man. This is the last year of the track. Probably one of the dopest leagues in the state of Ohio.
Real dope.
And Central's on the tear, whooping everybody ass before they get up out of there. And then what happened is, you know, from allegedly, you know, Whitmer was just tired of not winning. And this is allegedly. Don't I don't want nobody quote me. You know, and this is what I've heard, you know, from my sources. Like, they was tired of this, and then it was like, look, we want out. And then they forced the issue to get up out the league. And as soon as they forced the issue, it became open enrollment. And so I'm like,
so that's
so they got up out of the contract, and then now it's open enrollment. And so now, how I see it is, Whitmer should be dominating in everything, because
they said they're going to NLL.
They're in the NLL. So the Catholic schools are now playing in the Detroit League,
St. Francis going up there too?
Yeah, it's gonna be scary for a lot for St. John's and St. Francis for the next couple of years.
St. John's going?
They got to, yep, and Notre Dame and St. Ursula.
I miss the old city. See, I come from the old city league where they all was all in one hand. The money was getting.
Ain't nobody trying to.
It ain't a lot of kids going to school either. No more.
True.
I think once the charter school era started, that shit started yanking kids out. Kids not paying attention, and then the village was already getting broken. It's just. I was talking to the school we played in Columbus that beat us, and they were just telling me the same stuff me and you talking about, dude. Right. Just telling the principal. I was talking to the principal, dude, and our athletic director.
Yeah.
He was like, man, they gotta get this kid. I forgot his name, man. This dude is different. He said, yeah, man, he'll be gone by next year. He's like, he'll be over here in another school. I'm like, damn. He's like, yeah, we deal with that a lot, man.
I mean, and the thing is, and I tell people this, I got loyalty to, and I tell parents this.
Yeah.
I got loyalty to my kid, not to a school. That's how I see it. Is like my loyalty is to this individual. The school got to get their shit together, because just like, let's think about it like this: if my chick want to go be with you, who fault is that?
Yours.
That's my fault. So I can't be mad that she wants to go and be with you on some other shit, right? But if she cool over here, why would she even be enticed? You can have all the floss, all whatever you have, and she don't care because she's solid with where she's at. And so for the individual, how I look at it with schools and for athletes and for parents is you got to do what's best for your kid, because that school might not align up with what you need. Whether it's a school that you went to, shit change.
Yeah. Things
change over time. Or maybe you into the arts and theaters, and that school don't offer that, so you got to go to Toledo School of Arts. You got to do what's best for your individual child, period. And I'm like, I don't give a shit what nobody else trying to recruit you to say. Yeah. Do what's best for your kid.
Yeah, I already know. Yeah.
Period. And that's what. That's
a lot of people was on me like, man, don't take him. I was like, I thought about education first.
Yeah.
I thought about Dr. Cardinal. And I looked at the programs. I looked because he could easily went anywhere. And then it was like, he's a hooper. I was like, man, they're over there, Cardell over there.
Hey, man, Cardell ain't had no choice, man.
His daddy. Look, let me tell you about his daddy. Let me tell you, he had no choice. Listen, I texted his daddy, right? We had a banquet because they all went to Jay-Z together, right? I just reached out to him. I said, man, so. No, it was his mom. I said, so what's up? Like, what you gonna do with him? He's like, I gave it over to me. Like, he going over to Scott with his dad. Like, and that kid, he's such a smart kid, man. And I turned out real cool. It was in my son, Isaiah Beechamp. If I'm saying your name wrong, nephew, I'm wrong. Him.
Running back.
No. He didn't play. He played. A little short dude played basketball last year. Okay. Real short. Good. You're going to hear about him this year. Quote me on that. Him. Who else was it over there? Damn, who was Bird? A couple of they Jay-Z teams they won the championship with in basketball. They all is going to be on this team this year. Hopefully, Cardinal plays, and they're going to be dangerous, man. And somebody else I want to ask you about.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a football player I want to ask you about.
Which league?
The best running back in Toledo, though, so I want to say is Chris Edmonds.
Chris Edmonds? In the Toledo area,
yes.
In the city of Toledo.
If Bowman starts, we put him there, but he's starting, so we gonna put him.
See, in the region, the best running back is Connor Walton, Zach. Perrysburg running back.
You think he better than Chris?
Yeah. I mean, I love Chris, and
I got a person I'm biased for in Perrysburg. Wide out. He was their quarterback at first.
Moore.
Yeah, hooped. What's his name? He a junior. 17. Then what can I think of? What is his name?
Quarterback?
He used to be a quarterback. He's a wide receiver. I cannot believe I'm forgetting little bro name, man. We played with him on C2K. Jeez. I forgot. It'll come to me later.
Yeah, it'll come later, you know.
Biased. You think I got to check him out now.
Yeah.
Only why I'm biased towards Chris, because I watched Chris. The position Chris in, a lot of kids be like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I ain't sitting behind nobody. Chris told me, man, I get up every day. I work.
And so that's to the point. That goes back to the point that we talked about. Like, why kids stay where they at? Like I said, if he'd have left, that opportunity to be now to somebody else to take that payload.
And he eat.
And he had a problem like that. I got to sit behind Josh Watson. Josh Watson had to sit and wait. Josh got hurt, and then he took over. So it was like, and for Central Catholic, I mean, it's the right thing. Yeah. You want to have guys like that in the holster because you can't. If you want to win a championship and your number one running back fall off the face of the earth and you ain't got no replacement, they don't spend all them hours in the offseason just to be like, look, we packing it in after we spend like when I was coaching over there, we were spending so many hours. I never knew what I literally didn't understand what I got myself into.
Dempsey is like the godfather.
Bruh, I didn't know what I got myself into. I got over there, they like, I'll be out. Here's one fun story. I was coaching and defensive coordinator Nick Toth. He was a college coach. He was like, hey, I need you to go study this film here and do this and this and this. And I'm like, all right, I ain't do that shit. So I ain't do it, right? Then I'm like, all right, he was like, so come in the next day. And he did this shit on purpose. He knew what was happening. Shout out to Coach Toth. I love him. He was like, all right, so hey, so Mike, what's their route combos? I'm like, oh man, one of their favorites is the smash. And he was like flipping his paper like, where? I stayed up till fucking 4 in the morning and I didn't see that shit anywhere. Where'd you see that on the film? I'm like, he's like, are you fucking lying? I was like, he's like, you ain't watched the film. He's like, don't fuck with me no more. And he dogged me out right there. And that's when I knew that this shit was no game. And I was like, oh, I ain't never about to feel like that ever again. Like, he came at me like that.
On that.
And so I'm like, and that's when I knew I was on my job and my players was on their job. And like, again, that's why T1 and them cats was, because I'm like, I'm not going to get yelled at no more. Like, this dude was crazy. He was 60 years old, but he be talking to you like you ready to whoop his ass, but you can't whoop no 66-year-old man ass, but he was just on your shit. I'm like, all right, bro. I got you, man. Like, you about to really piss me off, but I'm going to shut up, and I had to humble myself and learn how to take coaching. And I think that made me a better coach, too, because sometimes you just got to sit back and listen because you don't know what the fuck going on all the time. And that's one of the cool things that happened to me over there was just getting put in my place. Like, look, man, like, you go over there and you think who you thought you was. You ain't. You just a number, and you better do your job, or you're going to get kicked out. Some of the best football players over there. Even guys like, was it Mark Washington? Mm-hmm. Beast. And I didn't get a chance to coach him. I'm like, and if we would have had him on those state championship teams, he would have been there. I'm like, those teams have been stocked and crazy loaded, but I
see so many kids like that, man.
It's because I think it's just the transition from a public school to a Catholic school. I went to public school my whole life. I wouldn't have been able to make that transition if I went to, been able to do whatever I wanted to. And then had to go to these rules.
And
like
if you don't got that mind,
if you ain't got that, you really ain't gonna make it because you need that support to be able to see through that shit. And so a lot of kids, they just fall to the wayside.
Because my son was just like that. Totally, because he went to Catholic school. He went to public school like a couple years when he was younger, but went to Emmanuel, and he left there. Then he's like, I'm like, how you like it? He's like, it's totally different.
No, St. Francis is hard, bro. That's a hard school. That's the hardest one here.
No, it is. Man,
that's the hardest school here.
I'm like, when you go to Dean and shit.
And they got that sliding
and they make
scale.
Their own grade
5.0 scale.
Yeah, I'm like
70 is an F.
I called Craig like, hey, bro, I'm gonna just bring him over there with you this year because I ain't. Then they like, oh, well, you can pay to keep him. I'm already paying enough, so I can just.
Yeah, and it's like I said, in education, man, it's
a couple of your uncles and aunties made it up out this system, so we'll be all right.
Yeah,
we got a couple more years to go, so we'll be all right.
You'll be fine, man. Like I said, and you got good people in this corner. Like you said, it's about the community, having the right people to drive you.
Not to cut you off. You know who I was mad. I never got to play high school football. Yeah. Jerry Easter.
Jerry Easter, man. I've been calling to get him on the field again. He played in the All-Star game.
That's what made me. I'm like, damn, he moved like a cat. Like, he was He was different, man. I never got to watch him on a football field.
I think he should, man. I mean,
it was rumors. I'm gonna put it out on Big Jerry cuss me up, but it was rumors they was gonna do it this year before the injury last year. So it was rumors. I ain't gonna say where he was gonna play. It was a rumor, and if,
I already know where he's gonna play if you talking about it.
Yeah. It was a rumor. It was that he wanted to come over here and get that ranking. Because I think
if he a wide receiver, I mean, like just look at like LeBron's tape and guys like that. Like I mean, he
messed me up how fast he was.
He's faster than a lot of people know. Like I said, because that court, he's just quick on the court.
Yeah, he's shifty.
He got the long legs, take a couple steps, he's down there. But on the field, like he can really. And the same thing happened. Like I always go back to Delonte and Daryl Robinson and all those cats in that little group. Those dudes was fast as shit because
Delonte was fast.
You back and forth on that court, and then you go on that field, you get to open up. Like them dudes already got stamina because hooping is nonstop.
That's how I be looking at Barnett like, damn, he fast.
Oh yeah, and he can eat because he's a hooper.
He's a hooper, and like, how fast he is. Like, and his dad's like, no, he playing football. Are you sure? Because he this good in basketball. But when you watch him on that field, you be like, damn, who can just take a pass like that? And like, man,
he's a junior this year.
He's a junior this year.
Barnett, when you listen to this, man, you got to hit me up, man. Hit me up so I can get with you, man.
That's nephew. Man, I'll tell him. I'll call him when I leave here.
The big thing is, man, Cash just don't be wanting to put the work in.
That's
the thing. Like
he gets up, he will.
My thing, what I've learned with a lot of guys is they got an uncle or somebody to tell them that they know what the hell they talking about and they don't. I've worked in the college recruiting office for a year. I helped bring in one of the best classes in the MAC. I work for a recruiting site, Prep Hoops. You know that for basketball.
Yeah.
I'm the director of Prep Hoops. Prep Red Zone for football in the state of Ohio.
I never heard of that.
We just got done ranking the class of 2025 today. And it's like, and it's kids here in Toledo that I don't know. And it's like, why don't I know who you are? You know what I mean? I'm the guy that's doing the rankings and putting your name out there. I should know who you are. You should be trying to put yourself in place. And so to say that, how to do that is guys need to be on Twitter. So the easiest way to be seen is to get on Twitter. Every single college coach is on there.
It's easier now because you can just it's so easy to get your footage and just be like, Back in the day, you have to go get a tape and all this other shit. Now
you make a clip and put it on Twitter and a like, share, retweet. I mean, I ain't got a lot of followers. Like 13,000 followers, and I got a whole bunch of college coaches in there.
That's a lot.
A whole bunch of college coaches in there, and it's like I hit retweet or like, they like your stuff, they gonna see it. So it's like you got to put yourself out there, and a lot of guys just think that shit just gonna fall in their lap, and it just never works like that. And that you got to put yourself out there, and like your son. He's making these decisions, and he got friends making those decisions. And the hard part is that peer pressure. And I remember telling my mom in high school, and she always reminded me, she was like, I'll never forget what you told me. She was like, peer pressure is the worst kind of pressure, because it's your friends, and you don't know how to make that decision to say, I still fuck with you, but I can't fuck with you. And once I learned how to do that in high school, my sophomore year, and I turned myself around, I was a class clown, wasn't getting my grades right, had that conversation. I was like, you know what, I'm wearing all these tall tees and shit. Like, this is tall tee era, you know what it was. $5 tall, big jabos.
$5 from the corner store.
Leave a sticker on that shit, let you know it's a 5X, big tall daddy. And you go out, and I'm like, you know what, I don't like how that shit fit. It was just like, I ain't like how it fit. And I just put on the Abercrombie polo one time. And I was like, damn, this shit feel good. I've been, we football players, your muscles popping out. I'm like, hold up. And then the white girls in school start hollering at me. I was just like, I said, hold on. I've been walking through the halls all these years, and you ain't never noticed me till today?
They can't bring the black man with the white tee home, man.
And you can't. And so I learned, how to switch my style up. I was like, man, I can't reach the other side like this. I got to know how to play both sides. Gotcha. And so I switched up my gear, started rocking different clothes just as an example. I was like, let me wear a polo one day. And I saw what it did. And I was like, all right, the next week I wear a polo 3 days. I wear 3 days of the week. And I'm like, let me wear a polo every day of the week. And then guess who turned their back on me? My own friends.
No, they do that.
They were just like, man, you switching up like you acting like a white boy now. And I'm like, that's toxic as fuck. Like, that's toxic, bro. Like, because I want to wear a polo I'm acting like a white boy. I'm like,
and they tell you when you talk proper. I went to a Catholic school all the way up to my high school, right?
yeah.
And I remember coming home and people were literally teasing because I had on a uniform.
Yeah.
I got teased for having growing up with my mama and daddy. So it was just like, what kind of shit in the world is y'all?
You got a mama and daddy.
Yeah, they you got your daddy. You got your daddy. Nigga, you can't hang with us. Nigga, you can't. I want to. All right, I can say it.
That's because cats was hurt.
I want to smoke weed one time. Like they like, hell no, you a good kid and your daddy did it. I'm like, nigga, I could. Which they really was telling me right, but they was really just saying it. You won't let me smoke no weed because I got a daddy. Like, what kind of weird shit is this? Like, so it's like, yeah, you don't want kids. Got to realize, man, your circle mean a lot. I was watching John Morant interview on the Pivot, and he was and it's fucked up how people talk crazy about his daddy, but he like. We complain about daddies not being in the house. Yeah. So when they is in the house, they doing too much, man. I can never cheer too much for my kid.
Man, like Lonzo Ball too, like Ball.
Yeah, like they was dogging his daddy. Like what the fuck? Like if his daddy wasn't there, what now? What?
Hey man, I'm gonna be there every step of the way for my kids. Period. And I'm gonna be there because they gonna know that they got my support. And that's because that's all that matters. It's like I don't want you to feel like you got to impress Tommy over here or Gina over there. Fuck them. Excuse my language. Like they don't matter. What matters is what the mission is. And my job as a parent is to keep you on your straight and narrow ship. Like yeah, you're gonna drift a little bit, but I can't let you fuck yourself up because you a kid. You shouldn't be making decisions to screw yourself. And to have two parents makes it easier, you know what I mean? Like, so your mom, like, it's easy to buck against your mom.
Yeah, but dad, you can't.
Dad, you ain't bucking against pops. You like, all right, I'm going to cool out. But mom, you like, all right, mom, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then what ends up happening is this. Some female tendencies start to kick in for a lot of guys that have single moms.
I'm glad you put it out there like that. Yeah.
Because
it happens.
I mean, what do you know? Your mom yapping and yelling, and then what happens? And you just becoming the same thing, you know.
And then you have a kid start having bitch fits, and you just be like, man.
And it's like, who raised you? And then that's where that shit comes from. Like, who raised you, bro? Your mama raised you.
And not saying the mom. And don't get me wrong,
ain't
ladies.
Nothing wrong with my mama raised me. My mama raised me.
Ain't nothing wrong because. Believe it or not, every football game, my dad was not there, even though my dad was in the household. I worked, but Mom Dukes was there. Football game with the camera and everything. Like, I get it. But when you get that extra, sometimes it don't even got to be the dad. It can be uncles.
Uncle.
It can be
a male role model.
It can be, and that's what we missing. Because I remember back in the day, shit, a drug dealer go tell you, take your ass to school. Why the fuck is you skipping school? You know what I'm saying? Now I don't know what they do. But, you know, the village is kind of broken, man, a little bit. But we fixing it. We fixing it, man. We fixing it, man. Just by us sitting having this healthy conversation, man. Because like I said, I do a lot of entertainers. I do a lot of other stuff. And I, once again, want to thank you, man. Because, like, this is a conversation that I know is going to be watched. And we really, really need in the community. Before we go, I want to ask you this. What do you tell that kid back in Cleveland, early 90s, when that white team? What would you go back and tell him now? The Mike Rob.
Keep going. I would tell him to keep going, man, because the biggest thing that for that kid was when I was a young cat, purpose. You know what I mean? Find a sense of where you were supposed to be at in this world. You know what I mean? And for a young, I've always thought about that. Like, weirdly, as a kid, I always thought, like, why do I exist? What am I here for? What am I supposed to do? You know, where everybody else is living in the moment. I'm sometimes sitting back like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, why are we even here? Like, what's the fuck is skin? You know, a fingernail. Like, why I got muscles? What am I supposed to use these for? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and so I started thinking a lot. And so what I tell that kid was to keep being adventurous. And that's kind of how I ended up getting to where I was at, was I just kept pressing the envelope of asking the question, why? You know, and not taking no for an answer. So what I tell that guy is just keep pressing, man, because if I don't ask the questions, I don't get the answers. And you can't be afraid of the answer no. And I've been told no 1,000 more times than I've ever been told yes. And so, you know, I'd take a no any day because then I know what I need to kind of work on and to keep going. So that's why I say just keep going, because there's been times where I've been roadblocked and then I've stopped doing what I was trying to do. But then the times that I knew adversity hit and I just kept pushing through that shit, like, you only need a little bit more to get to where you was trying to go. And then be like, damn, that shit was really worth it. And then what would happen if I would have stopped?
Yeah.
So just keep going, man.
Man, once again, man, I appreciate you coming through, man. A lot of game, man. You got a lot of game, man. I appreciate it, man. I don't want this to be our last time. I want to say, man, anytime you got something to come speak on, promote, door always open. You know where we're at, downtown.
Absolutely.
Tell me your social media.
Hey, Twitter, man. That's where I really be at. Facebook kind of cool, but, you know, Facebook for us old heads, man. But Twitter, Coach_Mike Rob. Find me there. 4th and Goal on TikTok, IG, all that stuff. We get the highlights and stuff for y'all. And yeah,
How can kids get involved with 4th and Goal?
Man, just reach out. Hit me up on Twitter. Just send a message and tell me what you need. You know, and that's simply it. If I can't help you, then I'm going to pass you to somebody else. Like, I had a kid from Anthony Wayne just reach out, saying he wants some quarterback work. I'm like, I don't do quarterbacks, but I know a guy up in Michigan. And, again, it's like they're not hating shit. Yeah. So I could have been like, no, I can do it. Or I could have told that black man up there in Michigan, Donovan Dooley, I'm going to say his name, one of the top quarterback coaches in the country. I'm like, nah, go holler at my man Donovan, man. Like, and let that love be shown, you know. So it's like I never tell nobody not to get money or tell nobody not to work with somebody else because of a personal thing. So that's where I'm at with it, man.
Man, I appreciate you. The community appreciate you. When can I catch you on BCSN?
BCSN every Friday night. We getting it popping. This Saturday night we gonna be at the Horseshoe. So if y'all watching that game on national TV,
I think I was telling B I might go down there and watch it.
Hey
man,
if y'all there, y'all on TV, make sure y'all screenshot me at the 50 at the coin toss.
Oh, I can't believe
the coin toss.
We left that out. You are the UT Rocket sideline fucking Porter, man. I want to say congratulations on that too. You doing a coin toss?
Oh yeah, so I'm at the 50 every game. So I was there at the Notre Dame game. If you look on the YouTube channel, 419 Football, you'll see like some of the shorts.
We had that last year.
Man, we should have beat them. I'll say gonna be a tough challenge, but it'll be
the experience.
It'll be an experience. But yeah, man, the sideline stuff is cool. Been doing that for 6 years, TV for 7 years. So been in media for, you know, a total of 7 years, and it's been fun, and it's good to, you know, just get back and be here and be also on the show with you, man.
Man, listen, man. I told him, like, bro, I come from where I come from here. It's just like I done had, like, it's people that's above me and do the same stuff I do. And from coming from where I'm from, to sit across from somebody like you.
I ain't nobody, man.
Man, listen, no real shit. Like, just to be in the rooms or be at the table with you, like, coming from where I'm from, like, I didn't hang with certain groups. And I'll be real, some people that they hang around each other, and I can't say the word. I want to cuss too much. I know you're going to have people watching this. But, you know, I'm going to call them ass kissers, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, I never had to get you to the table. Just building that relationship with you is like big because the background I come from, man. So I really appreciate you coming through, man. This mean a lot to me, bro, and I appreciate it.
Hey, man, all love, man. You already know, bro.
And then for everybody, man, y'all keep supporting, man. I got the R&B Chronicles dropping on TikTok in 2 weeks. I'm doing a show where I highlight Roger Troutman gonna be my first episode. Okay. He doesn't get his flowers, you know, he's from Dayton.
Yeah.
You know, I want to give kids education on music and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Before sports, music, my first love. So that's dropping, and I want everybody to tune into that. Thank you, Coach Mike Rob. Thank you again. It's another episode in the books, man. R.I.P. Melvin Thomas. Rest easy, bro. We out.